All right, so today we're diving into something pretty wild, an experiment that just came out of Harvard University. And this isn't some boring theoretical paper, okay? This was a real-world showdown. They took a custom-built AI and put it head-to-head with one of the best teaching methods we've got. And the results? Honestly, they're kind of staggering.
You know what? Let's just cut straight to the chase. This is the number that made me do a double take. Students in this study, get this, they used this special AI tutor and learned more than twice as much as students in a top-tier, in-person Harvard class. I mean, that's not just a little bit better. That's a game changer. That's a revolution.
So that brings up the big question, right? How is that even possible? We're talking about Harvard. They have some of the best teachers, the best methods on the planet. So how on earth could an AI tutor, just working with students from home, pull off something so dramatic? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack right now.
Okay, so first things first. This wasn't some casual survey they did. Nope. This was a super rigorous, randomized, controlled experiment. It all went down in Physical Sciences 2. That's Harvard's biggest intro physics course. And because of how they set it up, the researchers could get a really clean, direct, fair comparison between two totally different teaching styles.
But before we even talk about the AI, we gotta understand the problem it's trying to fix. And it's a big one. For centuries, literally, education has been stuck with this fundamental challenge, this trade-off that seemed impossible to crack. Doesn't matter if you're in a huge university lecture or a tiny first-grade classroom, it's the same issue.
Think about it like this. On one side, you've got one-on-one tutoring. That's the gold standard, right? You have an expert totally focused on you, adapting to your pace, answering your specific questions. It's amazing. But you can't do it for everyone. It just doesn't scale. Then on the other side, you have the classic classroom. It's super scalable. You can teach hundreds of students at once, but it's a one-size-fits-all deal. The teacher has to teach to the middle, and it's never truly personal.
And this isn't just a hunch, There's a name for it. Bloom's 2 sigma problem. Way back in 1984, this guy Benjamin Bloom discovered something incredible. He found that the average student with a personal tutor performs better than 98% of the students in a regular class. Let that sink in. 98%! That's a gigantic gap. So for decades, the holy grail in education has been, how can we get those tutoring results, but for everyone? Okay, and this is where the Harvard experiment gets really cool. They didn't take the easy route. They didn't compare their AI tutor to some boring, old-school lecture where everyone falls asleep. No way. They pitted it against a proven, super effective method called active learning. That's where students are actively working on problems in groups, right there in the classroom. So this was a real heavyweight fight.
And the way they designed the study was just really smart. They used what's called a crossover design. So what does that mean? It means every single student in the study got to try both methods. So maybe one week you're at home using the AI tutor, and the next week you're in that active learning class. Or the other way around. And by doing pre-tests and post-tests for every topic, they could measure exactly how much each person learned with each method. Super clean data.
All right, so the stage is set. We've got a rigorous experiment, a totally fair comparison between two great teaching methods, and the results? Man, this is some of the clearest, most compelling data I've seen in a while. I mean, just look at this. The difference is just wow. That bar on the left, that's what students knew before they started. The middle bar, that's the score after the active learning class. And yeah, it's a decent improvement for sure. But then, look at the bar on the right. That's the AI tutor group. Their learning gains just shot up. We're talking more than double the improvement. In statistics, that's what you call a massive effect. So not only did they learn more, but get this, they learned it faster. This chart here shows how much time students spent with the AI. That dotted line, that's the 60 minutes the class would normally take. A whopping 70% of students using the AI finished in less than an hour. And that's the magic of self-pacing, right? If you already get a concept, you can fly through it. If you need a little more time, you can take it without feeling like you're holding up the class.
But okay, test scores are one thing. What about how did it feel for the students? Well, it turns out they felt way more engaged and motivated using the AI. When they got stuck on a tough question, instead of giving up, they felt more driven to figure it out. And that's so important. It's not just that it worked better, it was an experience the students actually liked more.
So the bottom line here is just so simple and powerful. Let's recap. They learned more, they learned it in less time, and they felt more engaged and motivated doing it. It's a win, and a win. So the big question is, why? What was the secret sauce? What made this AI so special? Well, the secret wasn't just throwing some generic chatbot at the students. In fact, other studies that have tried using tools like ChatGPT for homework have actually gotten pretty mixed, sometimes even bad results. Now, the key to Harvard's success was that they designed an AI that was built from the ground up with one goal in mind: to teach.
And a quote from the researchers really nails it. Think about it. A normal chatbot like ChatGPT, its goal is to just give you the answer. It's designed to be helpful. But an AI tutor, its goal is to help you find the answer yourself. That's a totally different philosophy, right?
Okay, so this one experiment at Harvard just blows the doors wide open, It raises this huge question. If we can get results like this, what does that mean for the future of learning? Not just at a fancy place like Harvard, but for everybody, everywhere.
The researchers really see this as a blueprint for the future. I mean, this kind of tech could make that one-on-one, gold standard tutoring available to anyone with a phone or a computer. Imagine this, a flipped classroom where the AI tutor teaches you the basics at home. Then, when you come to class, your teacher is free to focus on the stuff humans are amazing at, like leading group projects, sparking critical thinking, and really mentoring students. It's not about replacing teachers, it's about empowering them.
So when you step back, you realize this isn't just about a cool piece of tech. It's a potential social breakthrough. It gives us a real pathway, a way for policymakers, technologists, and educators to all team up and build something that is both incredibly effective and accessible to all. We could finally start to crack that old 2 sigma problem. And that leaves us with a really important question to think about. If an AI can perfectly handle teaching the foundational stuff, the nuts and bolts, it doesn't make human teachers obsolete. It does the opposite. It elevates them. It forces us to ask, what is the new role for a teacher? A role that's less about just delivering information and more about inspiration, mentorship, and guiding those complex, creative skills that will always be uniquely human. So I'll leave you with that. What do you think that new role really looks like?